What's up, YouTube? Or Storm here, coming at you with, first off, I have a bit of an announcement video, channel talk, and then we're going to get to the main topic of the day, which is, of course, a discussion about Mature Beast. Today I want to announce for you guys the Elite Four Challenge. So the concept, what we came up with this, was sort of like a four. If any of you guys have played the Pokemon games in the past, if you didn't know, the anniversary of the original releases is the February 27th. This is the date that it released 20 years ago. I think I still actually own some of the, like I've said in previews, I actually own some of the older copies. This is, I think, I don't know if you guys can see it, that's gold version right there. Probably think my first Pokemon game ever, and I actually wanted to do this Elite Four challenge. So those of you who aren't familiar with the concept is, when you're in the Pokemon games, the Elite Four, you have your team, you go in, you cannot, if you lose it all, you have to start the whole thing from scratch, and you have to have the same team throughout. So that's basically, we're using that concept to bring it over to Yu-Gi-Oh! So the concept with this is I'm having some of my favorite community members are some of the guys I've been talking to, the Team Ampias group are having. These guys are pretty tried and true. They know how to play these decks. Decks are also going to be a surprise, so you're not going to know what they are going in. I know X and Y, hand holds you and tells you what you're going to face, but that's not how it's going to be. You're not going to know what they're going to be playing until the game actually takes place. So the rules, first off, it's going to be on Dueling Network. I'm sorry for you guys who prefer those automated programs who have issues getting DN to work. I apologize for that, but unfortunately, the people that I actually needed to get on board weren't on board unless we played on Dueling Network. So everything's going to be on Dueling Network. As far as how you can submit, my channels, typically I prioritize people who have been around the longest. I know it kind of makes some people upset, some people that people who've been here longer get priority, but I always prioritize people who've been subscribed the longest. So it is a first come first served basis, but typically I'm going to move the people who have been subscribed the longest to the front of the line. And I'm going to make sure to be keeping a list of the people how you can contact me. I'll have the email list in the description. You can contact me there. And that'll how it'll go. The second thing is that like I said, you'll have to use the same deck all four for the entire gauntlet. You cannot switch decks. This is a lot different. I know a lot of people said I'm coming up copying the Sixth Path of Pain challenge, so I'm just gonna say it right now. This was not my idea. This was one of the community members' ideas. I feel like it has enough differences. I feel like having to stick with the same deck for all four makes big enough significant difference for me. And I think that the other rule is we will be using the November 2015 ban list. So you will have to stick. You are allowed to use OCG cards, though. I feel like since you're having to play the best decks, you should have access to all the cards, even if they are not legal in the TCG. So that's really it was really important to me that I made sure that was the case, much like our community tournaments in the past. All those CG cards will be allowed. You can use any of them. If you want to play trains, you can play trains. If you want to play, whatever you want to play. If you want to play, say, like Prediction Princesses with Tailwind, you can do that. So that kind of I think that about covers everything. I've pretty much chosen most of my Elite Four members already. The release date is probably going to coincide with the release of Red and Blue in about a month from now, February 27th. I'm hoping to have it done before then, but I'm having to coordinate 7 different people because I'm gonna have someone helping me with commentary as well. So I think that pretty much covers everything. If you're interested in entering, please contact me at aurastorm34@yahoo.com. If your emails don't get through or I don't see them, I will probably set up a second email just to make sure I get a hold of you. You can also contact me on Facebook or Twitter. Facebook is Aurastorm YouTube channel. Twitter is at Aurastorm43. Those methods are also valid to contact me. If you PM me on Facebook, I'm probably going to see it, so I can work out times or whatever. So I think about covers everything. So with that, and another thing about channel related stuff, I think I've had some pretty pun intended, salt-inducing comments in the recent videos, and I understand that comes with the territory. I'm getting more subscribers, so naturally some salty people are going to roll in and just start dropping salt. I thought I did a pretty decent job explaining this. I know some of you guys are new, so I understand you don't know what my how my replays work. I have 3 different types of replay videos on my channel. I have stupid replay videos. This is typically me playing something, and it's a standard replay video. It's with some showing off the combos, showing how the deck works. You know, standard. It's like what you expect. The Scoop Chronicles is a bit of an older video. I've really been wanting to get back to it, but those Scoop Chronicle videos are me losing in terrible fashion. I had a video with me losing to, had a replay with me losing to Dice Jar OTK, so like fortunately it errored out, but and those videos are pretty. I haven't. And then there's the Salt Mines Yu-Gi-Oh! I know I haven't done one of these Salt Mine videos in a while, simply because I've had issues getting DevPro's replay system to work, but the Salt Mines Yu-Gi-Oh! Is meant to showcase replays. I'm not supposed to be playing against good decks. I'm supposed to be playing against people who are salty and rage quit. That's the point. That's why I choose, you know, not so good, supposedly, music. I mean, what I find funny is I go back to my Magispector one where I used the Macarena music and everyone liked it, and then I come back to this new one where I understand people think Raid Raptors are some hardcore deck that's supposed to have great music or whatever, but I chose that music because it's supposed to be sarcastic music. That's what my Salt Mine videos are. So if you don't like the music, you know, you can feel free to submit music to me and have me look at it, because typically my Twitch mods supply my music. Typically, Voink or Voba is really good about supplying solid music, and for the record, he sent me that Nightcore music for the first replay video, so he's been pretty consistent about supplying quality music for my videos. So, again, like, I hope you guys understand I'm not intentionally choosing to pick bad music. I'm choosing music that fits the replay. I don't like picking, you know, the standard music. I feel like you guys expect more from me. I feel like you guys expect a little bit more uniqueness than just picking Benny Hill music and calling it a day. So with that out of the way, let's get to the main point of the video. I'm going to have all 3 of these portions of the video split, and so you can kind of skip through whatever you want to hear. So as well, and as far as any other channel content, I mean, I am working on some other content. I have actually a rarity collection coming out later this week. I have some to show off some of my new Ghost Rares that I've picked up recently. I'm also probably going to have a hero deck profile later in the week. And the other thing I wanted to mention as well is that I'm getting better. I've been updating all my schedule for the week will always be on the Facebook page and Twitter before the week starts, so you guys can check there if you want to know. So that out of the way, let's get to this main point of this video, which is Naturia Beast. A lot of people are saying Naturia Beast should be banned, so I'm gonna give both sides, because I feel like I'm leaning towards it shouldn't be banned, but I see why they make their point. I feel like I like to cover both. So you don't know what Naturia Beast does. It says during either player's turn, when a spell card are activated, you can send the top 2 cards of the deck to the graveyard to negate it and destroy it, but it must stay face up on the field. The biggest problem with Naturia Beast is that a lot of people playing mages and pals have trouble outing it because they're not playing traps. Because traps are slow. And I see the biggest problem with this card is it's so easy to make. Ironically, it's made with an X-Saber card, whereas X-Saber Polymaro, I think it's this one right here. The problem with this card is it's searchable via King of the Feral Imps, which is one of my favorite. I think I'm not the only one who wants to see that card in Hollow. I remember I was putting together one of my Mages and Pals deck lists, and I noticed like I have everything in Hollow, but yet King of the Feral Imps isn't. So the biggest problem is this tuner is searchable. It's not like Glow Up Bulb where you have to mill it or foolish it or get it in the graveyard. Palmero you can get from your deck, and the other thing is the Earth targets are way too easy to gain from the deck. You can use Plush Fire to summon Hat Tricker. Now you might say, oh, what if Plush Fire is banned? Well, or even Damage Juggler are banned like the OCG. Well, the other problem is Pendulum Sorcerer is also a Earth type monster. So that's the biggest problem, is that in the mirror match, it's far too easy to make. Much like Super Poly, it's often, like was in the Shaddoll mirror match, it's often decided the game on its own. And I do see that is a problem. I see why it's a problem, because the materials to make Nat Beast are searchable. And I feel like Nat Beast is kind of in the same boat as Exciton Knight and Lavaval Chain. they're two. It's a card that was made in an era, older era. It was made in an era where it wasn't as powerful as it was, and I feel like it hasn't aged well, much like Love All Chain. However, I will say the other side of the argument, because this is kind of where I'm leading. This is a kind of a twofold thing, or like about a threefold thing. One, I do say people typically, when they have a really, really top tier deck, they get salty when anything stops their deck. Perfect example, on the April 2015 ban list, I believe what happened, Crush card came off the ban list, and Mind Crush became really popular. So I'm sure a lot of you remember people saying Mind Crush should go to 1, people saying that, you know, Crush card should be rebanned because it stops their deck. And top tier players always do this. They always do this. It's something that happens anytime a top tier deck happens. You know, people want to hit the cards that stop the deck, and sometimes Konami agrees with them. They banned Soul Drain. They limited Soul Drain to push Dragon Ruler. So sometimes they do kind of go along with this. And the other thing that stands out about Nat Beast is that I've noticed is that it is not while it may be generic in Pepe, it's not the easiest thing to make. I mean, I have my Naturia list here, and I will tell you, I make Cataster and Armatis a lot more regular than doing Nat Beast. I understand, like, you can make Nat Beast and say Raccoon's a great example. The other problem is that I notice is that Mages and Palace players are not running traps. Now traps are inherently inconsistent and require a lot of deck space and can be dead draws, but enter this card, Rafflesia. Traptrix Rafflesia. Enter this card. Although I noticed that the cool thing about Rafflesia is that you can just run one trap in your entire deck and then side deck these other trap hole cards for those other matchups. You only have to dedicate one spot to Treacherous Trap Hole to get rid of Nat Beast game 1. And I do think that Raffle Ticket or Rafflesia, whatever you want to call it, does fix that problem. It gets rid of Nat Beast in the mirror match, and typically people only, have one. So really, really, I feel like even if it's only one trap, I feel like in the mirror, even if it's only just one trap, I feel like it's mandatory. I feel like if you run more traps, Nat Beast isn't much of a problem because Nat Beast negates spells, not traps. And I do think traps are inherently slower, and this comes from someone who loves traps. But I noticed the Treacherous Trap Hole is about a $13 card for good reason, because you can main deck it as your only trap card and then get over Nat Beast in the mirror match. And I do think that in this sense, I think, Nat Beast isn't really a problem if you're gonna be good and run Rafflesia in your extra deck, like the guy who won YCS Sydney. So, what was my other point about Nat Beast? I feel that was the main point. Was that traps are people there aren't running traps, and it's not generic. So I think I basically covered everything. So, anyway, guys. In summary, I do think I could see Nat Beast getting banned, but at the same time. Oh, yeah, this was the other point. The biggest thing about Mages and Pals, it is a player-created deck. Player-created decks always get hit more than not archetype-specific decks. Teledad is often the example that's cited, and Stratos, I think, is another great example of a card that's been used in so many different decks and eventually got the ban hammer. I think that's the other issue with Mages and Pals, is that it's a bunch of random kind of cards that just happen to work together. And I feel like Konami hates player-created decks. They hate creative cards. And this deck, you can hate Mages and Pals all you want. You can say that the deck is standardized and blah, blah, blah. You have to admit it's a bunch of random cards that just happen to work really, really well together. And some of them happen to be very poorly designed, such as Plush Fire. And that's one of the reasons why I think that Konami will more than likely hit the deck, not the outside support cards. Although I could see maybe possibly Palomaro getting banned, maybe, which is kind of weird talking about an X-Saber card getting banned, but I could see Palomaro getting banned because that way it's not as consistent. I could see possibly, I would cry if it happened, but Feral Imp King getting banned. I think at this point it's far more likely that Konami is going to hit cards that aren't Nat Beast rather than hitting Nat Beast, because I feel like the issue is the cards in the deck make it too consistent to make, not the card itself. So anyway, guys, as always, I'd like to thank you guys for watching my video today. Really appreciate it when you guys watch my videos. Tune in on Tuesday, Thursdays, and Fridays for more Yu-Gi-Oh content. Thursday will be our rarity collection update. Friday will be the new hero deck profile for the new format. No trap tricks, no nothing, more standard. Probably more standard than any of the deck profiles you've seen on my channel. So anyway, guys, as always, I'd like to thank you guys for watching. It's Warstorm.